Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Mo,
And I'm Jo.
and you're listening to Mojo and the Outsiders podcast brought to you by Backwoods Adventure Mods.
Hey guys, and in this episode, we're gonna just basically discuss camp cooking and like kind of all the different setups that we've used and seen other people use over the years. And yeah, just kind of what we have found works for us and what doesn't. Yeah, definitely tune in, and we'll see you soon.
Stick around. What's up, everyone? Thanks again for tuning in. We kind of got a cool episode today. A little different because it's something we're not experts in, at least not myself, but we're going camp cooking. So, whether you're one of those guys who brings out the Blackstone, we've got a guy, Jordan, I'm looking at you. He may bring out his whole grill setup. So, yeah, we're going to kind of go over some things like that.
Yeah. I mean, because really, like, cooking is like probably one of my favorite parts of camping. It's honestly something that I look forward to, like to get to the camp spot, so that way I can start like cooking and using my setup. And I don't really do any of the cooking at home. I mean, really, it's like my wife does most of that. Thank you, Jacqueline. But it's one of those deals where yeah, when I'm out in the woods and everything, it just I don't know, it's something that I just really enjoy, and I started off on like just a normal Coleman cook stove.
Coleman two burner. Who doesn't start on that?
Yeah, and really it was like perfect, man. I mean, I had my Coleman two burner. I brought pots. I brought pans. The only reason that didn't work for me was just size. Like I didn't have enough room to carry all that stuff. So that's the reason I ended up with my current setup. What did you start out on? Did you start on a Coleman?
Same old, man. Coleman two burner. I still have it. I was in my garage this weekend moving some stuff around. Huge sale coming up. But I found my Coleman two burner, and it's funny. It's like that thing never quit working.
Yeah.
I just same as you wanted something different, something hold a little bigger pans and stuff like that. And um, you know, this is kind of like the Raptor lights. Well, I got a Tembo Tusk because how else you gonna know if I'm
Yeah.
cooking or not?
May as well.
You
Yeah.
know.
Well, and that's like for me, like I mentioned before, like size was a big deal.
Mhm.
There's a million different ways that you can cook food while you're outdoors, obviously. You
Yeah.
can do as simple as cook it over some coals on the campfire, or you can go as crazy as getting a full cook drawer system with sinks and water heaters and everything else in it. So it's like you can go as crazy as you want or as simple.
Well, and that's like whenever I first started really getting out camping, and this is like floating rivers, camping overnight on some of the rivers we've got up near us. Like the cooking on the coals, that was like the way, man. I can remember our buddy Levi. He had this cast iron skillet, man. I just remember him always. We'd get a fire going and then sweep some coals to the side and throw some meat on that thing. And I mean, what better way to cook some stuff up than just on a cast iron skillet over some open fire. So that was probably one of the first ways I had ever done it. That wasn't like the first setup I ever owned, though. Like I said, Coleman two burner, but not long after, man, you got to add some cast iron to you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean cast iron's definitely great. Doing like a Dutch oven
Oh yeah,
setup.
we're big Dutch oven fans.
Yeah.
You know,
Mo loves Dutch ovens.
I mean, so much so that I may ruin somebody else's. Like I love mine so much that you better watch yours because sometimes people say that we can use them, Grant, and then their wife isn't so privy to that information. So I apologize for that. But yeah, watch your Dutch ovens, everything like that, and I mean that may be one of the better things I do cook out of. We cook out of. We can make a pretty good cobbler.
Yeah,
And
you can.
it's not like it's difficult. It's just adding the ingredients, putting the coals on it and around it, and rotate.
Yeah. What would you say is, or I guess better question is, what would you say Mariah's favorite
Yeah, no kidding, right?
favorite meal to cook while camping? Like if you guys are getting to a spot, it's late. You don't necessarily want to do just hot dogs. Like, do you guys have like kind of a go-to, just quick meal?
I mean, a quick meal. I mean, depends on who's all around. Mariah, she is amazing, and she will. she will, make meals for way more than us, and have extra left over for others, kind of same way you do on your scuttle. But I mean, there's not many trips we take where, if I need something quick, there's going to be a cheeseburger around at some point. But then, jambalaya has seemed to like show up. It's real easy to put together. It cooks all in one pan or one pot, and that can feed a lot of folks. Man, reheats well, so it's like that has been happening more and more. Is That's not like the easiest meal. I don't think. I mean, but that's
Yeah.
one of our quickest ones. Something we've done. I'm terrible, man.
Yeah.
Cheeseburgers, man. I am so basic, but cheeseburgers are something I can always have. I don't care
Yeah.
if I have one for lunch. Dinner will be fine too.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I have stuff like that too,
Yeah,
because it's if I'm by myself and my wife and my son isn't with me or no one else, I generally keep it pretty basic, and that's just
I know
because.
those biscuits are coming.
Well, definitely if I got some biscuits on me, I'm probably gonna bake some, but for me it's like, man, I know this is weird, but like I'll get a hot pocket, or one of those frozen like sausage biscuits that you'll
Yeah,
get out of the frozen section.
Jimmy Dean.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I'll just throw it right on the scuttle, put a little aluminum foil over the top of it, kind of make like a little oven.
Hmm.
And dude, they're awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
it's super quick, easy, don't have to make a big mess. Um, yeah, it's great. I know I've mentioned kind of my cooking setup before on here, but
I
due
mean,
to the topic of our episode,
I
I'll
mean, the
just
scottle is so perfect though,
yeah,
like for what you do, to be able to have the option to cook bigger meals if need be and not have to bring a different pan size.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's because that scottle, like I mentioned before, I have just a single burner stove. Just I have a hole drilled into a wood, basically table slide that comes out of the back of my vehicle. Just slides out. I drop my single burner down in there, and then I put my little scuttle top that I bought off of Southwest Disc. I just put it right on top, and the reason I love that is because I can turn it into an oven. I can turn it into a pot if I want to make like a soup.
Hmm.
I can, yeah, kind of do anything with it. And that's the reason I do those is
I
because
did not
of,
know that you could cook soup on a scuttle. I
yeah,
mean, totally makes sense due to its shape, but
yeah, yeah, you can do soups on them. I mean, you won't have like a really brothy soup because it's not the deepest, pot, but yeah, like you can definitely do some soups. Um,
also seems weird. I'm just not a soup person, so
yeah.
like to hear that that was like a meal that turned up at some point, that's amazing.
Oh man, my wife is a soup lady, dude.
That may be like
Yeah.
my wife's same way. Also a soup lover. I always tell her
Yeah.
the recession's over. We're eating real food now.
Yeah.
We ain't eating water flavored with chunks of meat.
No,
Let's
I
eat
get
the
it.
meat.
I get it. Yeah. No, and it's to me like for my personal setup and the space I have, like that works perfect. Now I've seen other setups that are really cool, like the jet bowl stoves. Not even
Yeah.
like the
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 Genesis.
yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, the
Not
Genesis.
not a paid sponsor.
Yeah, not definitely not sponsored. Don't even own one. I'd love to own one, but they're really cool. It's like these little stoves
Well, they
that
seem the same. Like they seem like they were hot. They were hot for a while.
yeah,
I think like everything that comes into this industry is like stuff gets hot, and it's something we haven't seen.
yeah,
Those Jetboil Genesis, I can remember when I guess what, 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Jetboil, correct me if I'm wrong, but
yeah,
yeah, like that folding, being able to fold pack
yeah.
was a super cool way. If y'all hadn't seen them, right? Like
They're awesome.
look them up, and I think they come with like their own pot, maybe that the whole stove stores in,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're super compact. I mean, you can essentially get a two burner stove in the size of,
almost like a 5 gallon propane. Am I
I
wrong?
wouldn't even say it's that big. I mean, it's tiny, man. Like tiny, tiny. I was shocked how, like, Brandon Waters is the guy
Yeah,
that showed it to me the first time. And, um,
that checks. He's a cooker. He's a
oh,
family
yeah,
dude.
he is. He is. But yeah, no, he showed it to me the first time and I was shocked how small it was. It's It's one of those deals where kinda like most said, it's funny how things come and go in this space.
Same. That's
Yeah,
how I have a Timbo tusk in my garage. It's like,
yeah,
and I know those have been around for a long time, but same. Like as soon as they hit this market, man, you start seeing them, and and these people, hats off to them that make them look amazing. Whether it be YouTube
yeah,
or whatever. You see these people cooking on these things, and I go to cook on it, and sure enough, my meals never turn out
yeah.
looking as amazing.
What would you say, I just thought about this and really I don't even know the answer to.
Pop quiz.
What would you say is like the hottest cooking item for camping right now? I don't even know.
I don't know, man. I would, 2 years ago, I would have thought the Tembo tusk was the thing, but I don't know, man. I don't know if everybody's back to like just two burner status. I know some people, will bring those like backpacking meals, where they
Yeah,
just heat up water, so now you just bring a jet boil thing to heat up 8 ounces of water and
yeah,
add to your dried food, and that's a meal. So it's like, gosh, I don't know what people are doing these days as far as like this is what we need to be cooking on thing. And maybe it's kind of settled, right? Maybe the dust is settled. Maybe they're not coming out with any new cooking things. Um,
I mean, Lord, what would you? It's like I don't even know what else you'd come out with.
I don't
It's
know. I
like,
thought Coleman when they came out with like that little portable oven thing, that works on
yeah,
their two burner. I thought that was something pretty unique, pretty cool. Packs flat, super super cool little thin thing.
yeah,
And we loved it too, but it just like an oven. Well, if you're putting it in an oven, it's got such a long cook time, whatever it is, right?
hmm,
That it burned so much propane. So it's the same in the garage still, and I don't know if it'll ever come back out. Maybe.
yeah,
Who knows? But definitely a pretty unique thing. But I think the Jetboil Genesis, that may have been like the last cool thing
yeah,
that came out, being able to fold like that.
yeah, yeah. And I kind of like you were saying earlier, I think a lot of people probably have just kind of found what they like and
Yeah.
found what they're used to. It's like, man, I can't even really think about, changing my setup just because I've gotten so used to it now
Hmm.
that I don't know, it probably turned me on top of my head, trying to figure out
Yeah.
what all I
Yeah.
was doing in my system. So
Well, it's same, it's like I started two burner, went to like a Tembo Tusk, and then now guess what? Back to a two burner.
yeah.
And it just works, it's just something convenient, the simplicity of it. Like I said, if I had a setup like yours, where my tusk could sit up in the bed of like
Yeah.
the Forerunner or whatever, that'd be amazing, but it's like I have to stand this thing up, do the three legs.
Yeah.
It's a thing, and we still get it out, like if it always depends on who we're camping with, how big a group, are we gonna put on a meal and make sure there's plenty for everybody, so
Yeah.
it still checks that box, but most times for me and the wife, it's like the two burner will get the job done.
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking about, kind of like go-to meals, if for me personally,
Yeah,
Mo is going to hate this.
oh boy.
He's going to hate it
Oh boy.
because he hates this company's parking lot. That's the
Oh,
only reason he doesn't like them.
here we go.
But dude, I'm telling you, Trader Joe's,
Oh boy, I knew
dude,
it.
they have the easiest because they have their frozen section. They got these meals that are really good. They claim they're fresh. Who knows how fresh they really are? But man, it's awesome. You can just go cut open the back, throw it on top of a pan or whatever, and you got a meal in about 5 to 10 minutes. That's
What he's
enough to
saying is you're
feed.
gonna have a meal quicker than it took you to find your parking spot at that place. So
Well, I mean, my experience with Trader Joe's, except the one in Denver, the one in Denver was the worst parking lot I've ever been in. But the one in Little Rock was just like a normal grocery parking lot. They did have these weird kiosk things that took up random space, but I think that's just a Trader Joe's deal.
that is. I've only been to the one in Denver, and man, maybe one day I'll go back to one that has a big open parking spot.
Yeah,
But I mean, the food that came out of there wasn't terrible. Wasn't bad at all, really. The wife went in there, she grabbed a bunch of good things. You went in there, grabbed a bunch of good things. I know some of their dried fruits amazing and stuff, but yeah, I mean
yeah,
that's definitely one of your go-to meals. I'm always surprised by how much Trader Joe's food you have. Since we don't have one, the closest
yeah,
one's what, 3 hours from us? But you'll
yeah.
always be busting out Trader Joe's at camp.
Yeah, I mean it's about 2.5 hours away. But no, Jacqueline and I like we'll stock up. Like every time I go
It's
back home,
crazy.
Yeah, dude. Anytime I go back home to Little Rock, I'll always bring my fridge, and seriously, we'll come back with like we may come home with $200 worth of Trader Joe's food, just because like we like having it for camp and like even yeah, it just makes
Around
it
the
easy.
house, good.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, like I said, we definitely don't have one, so I guess if you're making the trip, I'd throw everything you could in there,
yeah.
but that's wild, man. I knew it was one of your favorite meals. I didn't know it was the pinnacle, the top of the pyramid.
Well, I wouldn't say it's like my pinnacle of like all meals, but I would say it's probably my go-to if it's there kind of deal, just because it's easy.
Well, it does. It cooks well on the scuttle, so it, like, checks that box and everything.
Yeah,
Um, same. I mean, same. I'm like I said, if I'm by myself, it's gonna probably be a round meat,
yeah,
whether it be a burger, a hot dog, a
yeah.
brat dog.
Do you ever do hobo meals?
Negative.
Have you ever done a hobo meal? Or do
That's
you?
like the tinfoil packs.
Yeah,
Yeah, the foil packs.
yeah.
I've done them. I could tell you a funny story about that.
Me too. You tell yours first.
Dude, this one's buck wild, man. We're out with some guys. I mean, we're out with these guys, and dude, they're too much sauce, man. Too much salsa. Get into that booze a little early
Oh
before
yeah,
dinner. And they're starting to put this foil pack together, and it has all this shrimp and these potatoes and this corn. And I mean, it sounds good. And the thing is, and they were trying to cook. I guarantee 20 pounds of shrimp in this one foil pack, and dude, they start busting this foil open, and shit. Some of these shrimp still just as clear as they were when they came out,
yeah,
and they're telling me that this thing's done, and I was like, man, it was a hard pass. That was
yeah,
probably my last like running with foil packs or hobo mills or whatever you want to say.
yeah.
Um, but dude, I mean, this shrimp was the most clear. I mean, like, if it was warm, I'd have been impressed, but I
Right,
mean,
right.
it was something else, but, I like the idea of that, but I don't think there's any science to it. Not that I need that,
Right.
for me to cook it or be interested, but it's, like, such a hard thing to do. I've been out with Dylan, he's tried to do these, like, foil pack cookie things, and, parts of it were good and
Yeah.
parts, you needed to throw to the side.
Yeah. Real quick, so in case anyone doesn't know what a hobo meal is, so what it is like you basically just chop up kind of whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
And then yeah, you take some coals out of the fire, you wrap it all up in that aluminum foil with some type of olive oil, butter,
I was gonna say
whatever.
butter's a good one.
Yeah, for sure. And then yeah, you stick it right on the coals, stick a few coals on top of the pack. It gets it nice. And did you put coals on your pack?
Dude, yeah.
Okay, I thought you were gonna tell me you didn't. But yeah, so you put coals on the pack, and it's supposed to get
I
it nice
wasn't in
and
charge of
even.
this either. I was
Yeah,
more of a onlooker.
yeah. I'll tell you a pretty funny story. Nick is gonna hate me for telling this story, but have you ever heard this?
No.
So this is like the first time I ever met Nick.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a big fan of Nick like the first like time I ever hung out with him because all right, real quick. I loved Nick, but this time, like, I was like, "What the heck, dude?" So we were sitting there around the campfire, like Nick and I are kind of both like filling each other out,
Yeah.
just talking, chit chatting, and I put my hobo meal like in the fire, right? And it's sitting there, and like it's just right on top of the fire, and
Right.
then next thing you know, Nick just like hawks up a lug and spits it directly on my food. Like directly.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he doesn't even know what he's done,
Yeah.
And I'm sure he saw the look on my face. I'm like, whoa, dude.
Dude,
Kinda,
it's like that, huh?
yeah, because I thought he like knew what he was doing. And all of a sudden I kind of reach up there or reach down there and, grab my pack and like kind of knock it out of the way because I'm definitely not gonna eat it at this point. And Nick looks at me with this horrified face. He's like, "Was that your food?" Yeah, dude, that was my food. Yeah. But man, I'm telling you, like now, dude, Nick's an incredible person. But yeah, that was just like he and I'd known each other for I think a matter of 2 hours at that point. So I was kind of like, what the heck? But
Dude, he
yeah.
was letting you know where he
Yeah,
stands.
market his territory.
Right? Right. This is my fire and I spit here.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
food is cooked here.
yeah. But yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, foil packs, they're definitely another way, another option, very minimal. It's like whenever you're done, you're gonna be able to throw your foil away, not have
yeah,
any dish cleanup or anything like that. So it's
yeah.
like there's perks to it. I've definitely done it. Been with folks that do it, and some folks that do it well, man. You're
Yeah.
like, dang, man, that really turned out. But the folks that don't know how to do it, I think that's
Yeah.
like where I started to steer clear.
Well, like, you can cook food on engine blocks. You ever seen anybody do that?
Never cooked food, but back in my more blue collar-ish days, people would do that, on job sites and stuff. You'd see them, and who knows, man, who knows if it's healthy or not, but you'd see all these asphalt boys grab their lunch and take some of that hot asphalt and cover their lunch up with it.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
And I guess same thing, keep your food warm.
That makes sense, though.
Well, it was sounding psychotic to me too, but I'm telling you, you'd see him do it, and you'd see him do it again,
Yeah.
and then like same. I'm such a basic dude that I'm probably gonna be at a fast food restaurant,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
Mexican joint next door or something.
Well, like, I've never done the engine block deal, but I've seen like a lot of videos of guys like on their way out to camp or whatever, they'll grab a burrito or whatever. But
Seems like
it
that's always the way, man.
Yeah, and
I
they'll
almost want to look up a video. Is this like old wives' tale, or you think people are really doing it?
I know for sure I saw it on Overland Bound once, like way, way back in the day, and that's where it really stuck in my brain. And then I've seen other people do it, since. But yeah, they'll grab a burrito, stick it in aluminum foil, get some wire or whatever, and then yeah, they'll just essentially stick it right on the engine block. And while they're driving, drive down the road, let it heat up. I don't know if it necessarily cooks it, but it'll heat it up,
Yeah,
and then it is piping hot by the time you get there.
dude, you better make sure all your gaskets are right. You don't want no oil blowing out.
That'd be a thing. That'd be a thing, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I guess, a way to cook up some
It
food, I
is.
guess, if
It
you need
is. I
to.
mean, if that's where you're at, that's where you're at.
Yeah,
Like I would hope there's a better way. I mean, I guess it checks the box though. If you're trying to go somewhere
yeah,
and you're gonna be hungry when you get there,
yeah,
then maybe it check the box. I guess you had a
yeah,
30-minute drive. I would be down for that. But
yeah,
like for camp cooking, it seems like a crazy thing, right? Like, could you imagine starting your car and people wondering what you're doing, and you're
yeah.
like, "Oh, dude, I'm just heating up dinner."
Like, put it
What?
on the fire.
Yeah, throw that thing on
Like,
this fire, man. Come on.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I mean, that's definitely a unique way. I mean, there's just now. I mean, can't forget about the old stick and the dog over the fire.
yeah. I mean, that's as basic as it's gonna get, really. I
Yeah. I
mean,
mean, heat works
yeah,
instant. Cook it as fast as you want. Land
yeah,
that thing in the fire if you need to.
yeah. I'm trying to think of like the craziest camp setup for cooking I've ever seen. I mean, I know I've definitely seen some crazy ones, but maybe like,
Some of these people, Travis, out of Alabama, he's like started to bring, and same with Jesse with Switchback Supper Club. Now
yeah,
these guys are starting to tote. I think Solo Stove's making it, but making a little pizza oven,
really,
dude. And I mean, these boys are turning out these amazing pizzas in this little. Maybe it's Solo Stuff. This is where we need our grant to be
yeah,
bugling for us, but. Yeah, it's this little pizza oven, but it's funny. He was cooking, and then just by freak chance, the people beside him, he didn't know him. They
yeah,
pulled out the same pizza oven.
really,
Yeah, I was blown away, and so maybe that's it.
yeah,
Like how you were asking me earlier, like what do I think people are going to?
right.
Maybe that's the new hotness: pizza stoves, pizza
Dude, I
ovens.
could get on that. I feel like
See,
I could
that's how it
also
works.
just, I feel like I could probably make shift one out of like stuff out in the woods, though.
I don't know.
I know that's like a little crazy. Like, why would I do that? But
Yeah,
at the same time, I don't know. It'd probably be way easier just to buy it.
but some folks are turning out some amazing pizzas. His pizza was amazing. Jesse's have always been amazing. Their neighbors were
Yeah,
doing a pizza, so had some of theirs also amazing. It just seems stuff like that. Like if you've got the room and you're gonna have people, a lot of these people too want to put on for folks. They
yeah.
want to put on a big meal and a big spread and have, folks leave with full bellies and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that, and it's like those are the folks that have like the most extravagant setups.
yeah. I mean, like Jesse. I'd never. I mean, I'd met Jesse a few times, but I'd
Hmm.
never had any of his food up until was it Overland?
Rendezvous or no? Yeah, Mountain West.
Maybe it was Rendezvous.
No, Mountain West. He served those walking tacos out of those Frito chili things.
Yeah, but he had us. Remember, he had I think it was Overland of America maybe when they pulled us over there that one night, or maybe it's
That was Rendezvous with the
Rendezvous.
pizzas, the apple pizza, apple
Dude,
butter.
that was the best.
Yeah, I'm the
The
same,
best.
like apples, like apple butter, but if you put it on a pizza, now I love it.
Yeah, and then he made us some other food. What all the food he made us was incredible, and
Mhm.
I'd never had anything like that off of a camp stove. And I mean it, and really,
Well,
I
he's
don't.
just different, right? You know, it's
Yeah,
like what he's bringing with his knowledge, his skill set, it's like you're gonna get amazing meals, and it's not like gonna be like a Mo or Jo basic meal. It's gonna
yeah,
be like something that like generally you would have to go to a restaurant to get.
yeah. No, that, no, that's definitely the case. I mean, he was making food I couldn't even really pronounce, so it was great.
Same, always some oddball ingredients, you know, stuff that like I said, most of the times it doesn't sound like it's gonna work or make
Yeah,
sense, but you put it in your mouth and it's absolutely amazing,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So I mean his whole setup may be one of the most extravagant ones I've seen. I don't know
yeah,
if he's even still pulling his trailer or if that's even still a thing, you know, but that thing opens like a Swiss Army knife into, you know, a full like galley.
yeah.
You know, like you can cook, clean. Both of them, him and Robin, can just absolutely slay it
Right.
on that. But
Yeah,
I mean, those things are good. Um, like I say, Jordan, you know,
yeah.
he brings out a propane grill, like one of those ones that folds flat, and
Like a grill.
yeah, yeah,
So
not like a charcoal grill, like a grill, like hook your propane up. This thing's
yeah.
legit.
Yeah. No, I mean he does, and dude, I mean it seems to work for him. You know, when you got a Tacoma, you got a truck bed. It's like
It's a
shoot.
truck,
Yeah, you can just bring whatever you
truck it
want.
around.
I know. The only thing. Okay, this is what I can tell you guys. Probably I don't even want to say not to do because it's like if it's all you got, it's all you got. But like I remember when I first started out, it was actually before I bought my Coleman stove. I remember I went to Academy and got the cheapest single burner butane stove. It was butane.
Yeah,
So I didn't even know like anything about it. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, stove's $20. I'm sure it's fine, you know. Dude, it was cold as heck that first night I went. And dude, I couldn't even hardly get my stove to turn on.
yeah.
Like
That butane didn't want to work in the cold temps.
no, no, and it did turn on, but I remember it took about I wanna say it took almost 30 minutes to cook, like, 2 eggs, like,
Dude, that's the
forever.
world's worst, like running out of gas or your stuff not wanting to work. You know, we've run into things where like even at elevation out west where it's like propane doesn't even want to stay
Yeah,
lit, you know, and it's like those are things that come with the travels. Like you
yeah,
think you have it dialed, and then all of a sudden your stove won't light.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, keep that in mind, like, if you're just getting into this and you're looking for a stove, yeah, don't get, like, one of the cheap butane ones.
Mm-mm.
I'm sure the higher end ones are a lot better, but, yeah, the cheaper ones, like, they'll be great during the summer, but, yeah, if you're trying to do any type of cold weather cooking or anything, you'll hate your life, so,
There's truth to that.
yeah,
And same, I forgot we even had one of those, but I do have a butane stove in the Land Cruiser. That's
yeah,
my like go to for that.
yeah,
Trying to have something to cook on everywhere. But it's
yeah,
same. You know the rules, like I said, if it's me, it's gonna be just the most basic. And you know, if I'm lucky enough to have the wife tagging along, I know I'm gonna be eating good.
oh, yeah, gourmet,
You know, so it's like, man, you just try and figure these things out, you know, same as you, same as me. We haven't been doing this forever, but like always, man, you'll try some things that stick and then some things you'll try and they'll work, but you know that there's a better way.
yeah, and I think it's kinda one of those deals too where I mean, I'm sure you can way overcomplicate it, don't do
Folks
that.
do.
Folks do, and don't do it, I'm telling you, like well, unless it's, like, something that you really enjoy, like, if your thing is cooking, definitely overcomplicate it because 'cause you'll have a ton of fun with it,
Yeah. And
but
you'll be everybody's favorite. You'll have probably a ton of new friends, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Caleb Baker, he's the same way. He
yeah,
puts on real meals. Um, you know, I think I've had like some bacon wrapped jalapeno poppers.
yeah,
Out there with him before, and same things, you know, where you're just like, this impressive looking meal came
right,
out of a camp kitchen, camp
yeah.
cook-up.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's definitely one of those deals if you're not into cooking, like just try to keep it basic because you'll you'll enjoy the camping aspect of it a lot more. Um, yeah, I mean, there for a while, like I thought I was gonna have all the setup in the world, and then after a while, I just kind of found what worked, and I've just
Hmm.
stuck with it. So
Yeah, we're the same. You know, it's like our two burner stays in there all the time. Butane's the two burner that stays in the 80 all the time. And it's like that's really what we've one pot, one pan. And that usually does it for us. Like I said, we're fairly basic. We don't just go nuts,
yeah,
but we always eat good.
yeah,
That I mean, for the longest time, and still true, right? It's like a lot of the times if I'm out camping, I will eat better while I'm out camping than while I'm at home. And who
yeah,
knows why that is the way it is, but
yeah,
it seems to happen,
yeah, exactly.
you know.
Well, cool. Well, guys, we definitely appreciate you listening in. If there's ever anything you guys want to add, to this cooking, I guess
Yeah, let us know your
conversation.
favorite setups, you know,
Yeah,
like what is something that we overlooked? You know, I know we did,
yeah,
you know, like there's no doubt, you know, I know there's MSR makes a bunch of stuff, you know, I know there's a bunch of you know, different kinds of cook setups, you know.
pocket
So
stoves and
yeah,
everything. So
right.
yeah, I mean, if there's anything that we miss, like let us know because hey, we are always open to try out different stuff.
Yeah, same. Like I said, and hopefully we'll see y'all out on the road as well.
Yeah,
We'll be at Rancho Cucamonga coming up end of this month, and we'll be back in Pomona shortly after that. So if y'all are in that area, come by, say hey. Jo and myself will both be there. So we'd love to meet y'all and answer any questions y'all may have.
yeah. And guys, this week's coupon code, I'm not putting in the middle this time.
Uh
This week's coupon code is going to be all caps camp cook 15. So that's CAMPCOOK 15. And guys, yeah, check us out on backwoodsadventuremods.com. That coupon code will work for anything on the website. And yeah, check us out on Backwoods Adventure Mods for Instagram. We're on TikTok now. It's the same. And then yeah, YouTube is the same, Backwoods Adventure Mods. So yeah, guys, we definitely appreciate you listening in. And yeah, we will
We've got a
see you.
lot of good things coming. You know,
Definitely.
not sure if y'all noticed, but everything on our website is now free shipping. And
Oh
then
yeah.
our inventory is coming back. So we're about to have a lot of our items back in stock again. So if there's something you've been looking for or holding out for, um, just be a little patient. We'll have it before you know it.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Peace.
See ya.